Ladies and gentlemen, there will come a time in your life, if it hasn't come already, when the world around you feels like it's crumbling. The ground you stand on seems to shake, and everything you once held dear slips through your fingers like sand. Maybe it's the loss of a loved one. Maybe it's the quiet, haunting emptiness that comes from dreams that never came to pass. Life will break you, that's a fact. But what matters is not the breaking. It's what you do after the breaking, because it's in those moments when you're on your knees that strength is born, true strength. The kind that doesn't come from muscles or money, but from a mind that refuses to give up and a soul that knows who holds tomorrow. You see, your mind, it's a battlefield, and every day it's under attack. Fear wants to control it. Doubt wants to poison it. Darkness wants to consume it. But you have the power to choose what you allow in. You can train your mind to rise above the storm, even when the wind howls and the rain pours. How? By feeding it truth, by filling it with hope, by reminding it that even in the valley, you are being prepared for the mountain. The world may tell you you're done. Life may whisper that it's over. But you look back at life and say, I'm just getting started. Because when you fall, it is not the end. It's a beginning. It's the place where your mind decides, will I stay down or will I rise up? Strength is not built in comfort. It is forged in fire. So if you're going through the fire right now, praise God, because fire purifies. Fire transforms. Fire reveals what's real. And let me tell you something, my friends, you are real. Your pain is real. But so is your purpose. And your purpose is greater than your pain. Train your mind to see the light even in the darkest hour. Train your mind to hold on even when everything screams, let go. Speak life over your own heart. Speak victory into your own soul. Declare that you will not be broken. You will be reborn. Strength is not something that appears when everything is going well. It does not grow in comfort or ease. True strength, lasting, unshakable strength, is born in the breaking. It is forged in moments when you feel like you have nothing left, when the weight of the world is on your shoulders and your heart is shattered in pieces. That is when strength begins its quiet, unseen work. It is a strange thing, isn't it? We often think we become strong by avoiding hardship, by protecting ourselves from pain, by staying safe. But life doesn't work that way. The strongest people you will ever meet are not those who have never suffered. They are the ones who have walked through the fire, been knocked down by grief or failure, and still chose to rise. They are the ones who were broken, but not destroyed. When life breaks you, it exposes who you really are. The mask comes off, the illusions fall away. All that remains is the core of your being, and in that raw, honest place, you begin to discover the strength that was there all along, buried deep beneath fear, pride, and self-reliance. It's not the kind of strength the world applauds. It's quieter, more enduring. It's the strength that gets you out of bed when all you want is to stay buried under the covers. It's the strength that says, I will take one more step, even when your legs tremble beneath you. This strength isn't instant. It doesn't appear in a flash. It grows slowly, in silence. It grows in the nights when tears soak your pillow, and the days when prayers feel unanswered, and in the long, lonely hours when no one else sees your struggle. It grows when you keep showing up, when you keep believing, even if only with a whisper. That kind of strength is born in surrender, not in giving up, but in giving over, in choosing to And the truth is, we all break. Life has a way of finding the cracks. A sudden loss, a bitter disappointment, a betrayal, a sickness, a failure. Any one of these can bring us to our knees. But being broken is not the end. In many ways, it's the beginning. Because the breaking makes room. It clears away the pride, the distractions, the false securities. And in that emptiness, there is space for something real to grow. Think of a seed. It must break open before life can come forth. It's the breaking that allows the roots to grow and the plant to reach for the sky. Your life is no different. You may feel buried right now, pressed down by hardship. But maybe, just maybe, you're not buried. Maybe you've been planted. And if you've been planted, then strength is growing. Quietly, deeply, invisibly. So do not despise the breaking. Do not fear the pain. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it draw out the strength that you never knew was there. Because when all is said and done, you will not be the same as you were before. You will be wiser, softer, stronger. And you will look back and realize that it was not in your triumphs, but in your trials, where your greatest strength was born. Your mind is a battlefield, one of the most important and dangerous places you will ever face. It's not always the world outside that defeats us. Often it's the silent war raging within. Thoughts are powerful. They shape your perspective, influence your choices, and determine how you respond to pain, pressure, and even possibility. That's why the mind must be trained daily, like a soldier preparing for battle, not once in a while. Each morning when you wake up, the battle begins. Worry tries to creep in before your feet even hit the floor. Doubt whispers that you're not enough. Fear reminds you of every past failure. Insecurity tells you that your future will never change. If you're not intentional about what you allow into your mind, these thoughts will take root, and before you know it, you'll be living in defeat while the war rages on unchecked. Training your mind is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing what kind of thoughts you allow to stay. Just like a gatekeeper guards a city, you must guard your mind. Every thought is either building you up or tearing you down. Some thoughts arrive like visitors, but if you don't challenge them, they move in like permanent residents. You can't always control what thoughts come knocking, but you can choose which ones you let through the door. This training requires discipline. It means feeding your mind with truth instead of lies, hope instead of despair, courage instead of fear. It means replacing I can't with I will, and I'm broken with I'm becoming. It's a daily choice to focus on what's good, what's possible, and what's real, especially when your circumstances scream the opposite. And let's be honest, some days will be harder than others. Some days the battlefield is quiet and it's easy to feel strong. Other days, it feels like a full-blown war. On those days, your training matters most, because a trained mind doesn't fold under pressure. It fights. It remembers what's true when everything in you wants to. You train your body by lifting weights. You train your mind by lifting your thoughts, one intentional decision at a time. It's in the little moments, choosing gratitude when you could complain, choosing focus when you feel scattered, choosing peace when you're surrounded by chaos. The more you train your mind, the stronger it becomes, and the easier it gets to silence the noise that once had power over you. It's not a one-time fix. It's not a quick motivational quote. It's a daily practice, a lifestyle. The more you train, the more your mind becomes your ally instead of your enemy. The more you refuse to entertain toxic thoughts, the more freedom you'll experience. The more you speak life over yourself, the more your mind will believe it, and soon you'll realize that what once shook you no longer controls you. You cannot afford to be passive. Not here, not in this battlefield. The cost is too high. The enemy of your mind is subtle and patient. But you are not helpless. You are not without weapons. You have power. You have choice. And with daily training, your mind will become a place of strength, not struggle, a fortress, not a battlefield. Your mind is constantly hungry. It feeds on whatever you allow it to consume. Whether that's truth or fear, hope or anxiety, peace or panic. Just like your body needs nourishing food to grow strong and healthy, your mind needs the right thoughts to stay clear, focused, and resilient. The problem is, fear is everywhere. It's in the headlines, the conversations, the silence, and even in your imagination. If you're not careful, fear will feed your mind junk. Thoughts that weaken you, confuse you, and slowly steal your joy, your purpose, and your peace. Fear is a liar. It speaks in a convincing voice, often using your past, your insecurities, or your pain to make its case. It tells you you're not enough. It tells you you'll fail again. It tells you to play small, stay safe, and never take risks. But here's the truth. You don't have to believe every thought you think. You have the power to choose what your mind feeds. Feeding your mind truth is a daily decision. It doesn't happen by accident. You have to seek it out, hold on to it, and let it take root. Truth may not always feel comfortable, but it brings clarity. It realigns your heart with what is real, not just what is loud. Fear may shout, but truth speaks with quiet authority. And once you know the truth, it begins to shift everything. When fear tells you you're alone, truth reminds you that you are never forsaken. When fear says you'll never heal, truth declares that restoration is possible. When fear convinces you that your future is over, truth whispers that new beginnings often come from broken endings. These truths are more than words. They are anchors for your soul in the middle of life's storm. You must be intentional about what you allow into your mind. What are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What voices are shaping your thoughts? If the dominant voices in your life are full of fear, negativity, and doubt, that's what your mind will feed on. And that's what will eventually overflow into your decisions, your emotions, and your actions. But when you fill your mind with truth, everything changes. It strengthens you from the inside out. It helps you respond instead of react. It builds a foundation that can't be shaken by temporary fear. Truth gives you the perspective to see beyond the moment, to look past the fear, and to step forward in faith even when the path is unclear. Truth doesn't deny the existence of problems. It simply refuses to be ruled by them. Feeding your mind truth doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you interpret reality through a lens of faith, strength, and purpose. It means you train your thoughts to focus on what is good, possible, and worth fighting for. Start each day by speaking truth over yourself. Remind your mind who you are, what you've overcome, and where you're headed. Speak truth, even when your feelings don't match it. Because feelings follow focus. And when your focus is rooted in truth, Fear begins to lose its grip. Pain has a way of making us stop in our tracks. It interrupts our plans, shakes our confidence, and often leaves us questioning everything. It doesn't ask permission. It arrives uninvited through heartbreak, failure, betrayal, sickness, or loss. And when it comes, it can feel unbearable. But what if pain isn't just a punishment or a detour? What if pain is actually a preparation or refining? We often pray for purpose, for meaning, for direction in life, but we rarely expect the answer to come through pain. Yet time and time again, purpose is born out of struggle. Look at anyone who has done something meaningful in life, and behind their success, you'll often find a story marked by pain. Pain is a teacher. It breaks us open so that deeper strength, greater wisdom, and lasting character can be formed within us. When you're in the middle of pain, it's hard to see any purpose. It feels like survival is the only goal. But often, it's in those very moments that something is being built within you, something eternal, something powerful. The pain you feel today could be the very pressure that is shaping you into the person you need to become in order to carry the weight of your purpose tomorrow. Pain strips away the superficial. It exposes what's real. It humbles us. It teaches us empathy. It slows us down long enough to reflect and grow. You begin to learn things in pain that comfort could never teach you. You start to ask different questions. You dig deeper. You realize that what you once thought was important no longer matters, and what truly matters becomes crystal clear. Some of the most profound lessons in life come through suffering. You learn how to stand when everything inside you wants to fall. You learn how to believe when everything around you looks hopeless. You learn how to hold on even when the ground beneath you is shaking. And in those moments, you are being prepared, not punished. Purpose requires weight. It requires depth. And you cannot develop those things in the shallow waters of an easy life. Just like a seed must break apart in the dark soil before it can grow into something beautiful, your life must go through breaking before it can bloom. The pain is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one that will carry more purpose, more passion, and more power than you. The very things you thought would destroy you might become the foundation of your greatest impact. The heartbreak that nearly crushed you may open your heart to love more deeply. The failure that embarrassed you may teach you the perseverance to succeed later. The rejection that wounded you might position you for something far better than you would have chosen for yourself. You may not understand the why behind the pain right now, and that's okay. Understanding often comes later, but you can trust this. Pain never goes to waste when it's placed in the hands of purpose. What you're walking through right now could be preparing you to lead someone else out of their own darkness. Fire at first glance looks like a force of destruction. It consumes, it burns, it reduces things to ashes. And when you're in the middle of life's fire, when everything feels like it's falling apart, it can feel like the end. But not all fire is meant to destroy. Some fire is meant to refine, to purify, to burn away what no longer serves you, and to reveal what was always strong, always pure, always valuable underneath the surface. In life, we all go through seasons that feel like fire, seasons of intense pressure, trial, testing, and pain. Things you once relied on are stripped away. People you trusted walk away. Plans you made fall apart. And in those moments, it's easy to think something has gone terribly wrong. But what if the fire isn't working against you? What if it's working for you? In nature, fire is part of the growth cycle. Forests actually need fire to clear away the dead and decaying underbrush so that new life can emerge. Some seeds won't even open until they've been through the flames. The heat breaks them open and activates the potential that's been hidden inside. The same is true for your life. There are parts of you, gifts, strengths, wisdom, that will never emerge until you've been through the fire. Refinement is not about destruction, it's about transformation. When gold is refined by fire, it isn't being ruined, it's being purified. The impurities rise to the surface and are removed, leaving behind something more beautiful, more valuable, more solid. Your trials can do the same. They bring to the surface the things in your life that need to go. Fear, pride, resentment, doubt. And once those things are gone, your true character begins to shine. The fire reveals what's real. Anyone can speak about faith, hope, and strength when things are easy. But the fire tests those words. It tests your foundation. It asks, what do you really believe? What are you really made of? What are you really holding on to? These are not questions we usually ask in comfort, but fire forces the questions. And if you're willing, it also gives you the answers. Many people see the fire as something to run from, but what if instead of running, you leaned in? What if you trusted that something greater is being formed in you, even if it hurts right now? You see, strength doesn't come from avoiding the fire. It comes from walking through it and coming out on the other side, not just alive, but changed. The fire might change how you see the world. It might change how you love people. It might change how you view success, time, or even yourself. And all of that change, though painful, has a purpose. Because after the fire, you're not the same. You're clearer. You're wiser. You're more grounded. You become someone who can withstand storms, who can carry purpose with humility, and who can help others walk through their own fire without fear. So if you're in the fire right now, don't be afraid. You are not being destroyed. You are being refined. Something inside of you is being revealed. You're not losing everything. You're losing what you no longer need, and what remains will be stronger, purer, and more powerful than ever before. There are moments in life when everything feels shattered, a loss, a failure, a betrayal. Whatever it is, it leaves you broken, standing among the pieces of what once was. And in that place, it's easy to believe that this is where your story ends, that the weight is too heavy, the hurt too deep, the damage too severe. But hear this, you were never made to remain broken. You were made to rise. It's okay to fall. It's human to break. Life hits hard sometimes, and no one walks through it untouched. But your brokenness is not your identity. It's a chapter, not the whole book. You are not defined by your pain. You're defined by how you respond to it. There's something inside you stronger than the pain, deeper than the wound, that was created for more. Rising doesn't mean pretending you're okay. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pushing it aside. Rising starts with facing the truth of your hurt. It begins with honesty, with acknowledging the pain, grieving the loss, and then choosing day by day to not let it have the final say. Rising is not an overnight miracle. It's a small, steady journey. When something breaks, it doesn't lose its value. In fact, in some cultures, broken pottery is mended with gold because the cracks tell a story of survival. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you didn't give up. that you've walked through something hard and you're still standing. There's strength in that. You might not feel strong. You might feel exhausted, hopeless, unsure of how to even begin again. But rising doesn't require perfection. It requires courage. The courage to believe that there's something beyond the pain, that healing is possible, that joy can return, that your future still holds promise. Even if your present feels dark, the world may try to convince you that brokenness is final, that if you've failed, you're a failure, that if you've been hurt, you're damaged goods. But none of that is true. Broken things can be mended, lost things can be found, and dead things can live again. You were created with resilience in your soul and purpose in your bones. There is more to you than what you've lost. There is more ahead than what lies behind. Sometimes rising means reaching out for help. Sometimes it means resting. Sometimes it means simply choosing to believe that things can change even if you don't see it yet. There's no shame in starting over. There's no weakness in the slow rise. What matters is that every great comeback begins with a decision to believe in something greater than your circumstances, a decision to trust that brokenness is not a full stop, but a pause before something powerful. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, means the story isn't finished.